It was a huge story earlier this year. A delivery driver shot a YouTube prankster in a mall in Virginia. And at first, everybody thought it was a mass shooting or something like that. A gunshot rings out in the mall. Everyone runs in fear. But what actually happened was that a YouTube prankster got in the face of a delivery driver with a phone, holding it right up to his head. And the delivery driver shot this young man in the chest. Now, the breaking news that came out over the past couple of days is that the man who opened fire on the prankster was found not guilty on most of the charges, but still found guilty of unlawful discharge in, I think it's like what, in a public place or something like that. Now, this basically means that charges relating to the shooting, I think it's malicious wounding, not guilty, because the jury correctly understood what happened here. This young man, this guy, Tanner Cook, has a YouTube channel, relatively small, about 50,000. Now, it's probably a lot for a lot of people, but in the grand scheme of YouTube, it's considered a small channel. I'm not trying to say that to be a dick. Large, even 100,000 isn't considered to be a large channel. I know, seriously, because there's, I think, like hundreds of thousands of channels that are at that size. And I'm not even sure a million qualifies at this point. But this guy produces videos where he harasses, intimidates, and stokes fear in people, intentionally aggravating, frustrating, and provoking people. And he does it for views. And it works. Most of the people, I think, that are, like, if you look at the comments on his videos, they despise him. And I just want to say right now, well, I'm not going to play the video because it shows a dude shooting a guy in self-defense. Alan Coley is the victim. Tanner Cook is the perpetrator. Understand this. There's probably some context here you can see. I don't want to actually play. So here's an image of the incident in question. It says, video shows Tanner Cook, 21, who runs the Classified Goons YouTube channel, harassing Alan Coley as he picked up a food order at the Dulles Town Center Mall in Sterling, Virginia on April 2nd. So here's the gist of the story for those that don't know. You've got these two guys, and I believe there may be two more individuals. You've got the person who's filming this. Then you've got this dude, Tanner, who is, I think, 6 foot something, getting up in the face of this driver, putting the phone close to his head and playing an obnoxious statement. Stop looking at my twinkle or something to that effect. This dude right here, the delivery driver, says stop, backs away, says stop, no, backs away, swats. The guy puts the phone in his face. He swats it away. The dude approaches him again, and that's when Coley pulls out a gun and shoots him in the chest. It is sad that this happened. We do not want these things to happen. I always stress this, because you'll always get someone being like, they're cheering for it. I don't. There are certainly people who are posting FAFO and laughing about it. Bro, this is not a situation anybody wants to find themselves in. Alan Coley, the victim, who was doing his job that day to bring people food, was being intimidated and harassed. Now, it is not, and I say this every time, incumbent upon the victim of someone else's criminal act to understand why they are being threatened. If you get in someone's face and he keeps saying stop, no, and you're putting your hand in his face, Alan Coley, I think, was acting reasonably. And that's why the jury agreed and said not guilty. Now, they're still saying it was an unlawful discharge, which makes no sense. If he's cleared because he was acting in self-defense, then he's allowed to use the weapon for which he has a license to carry concealed and was acting lawfully. After the shooting, he got down, put his hands behind his back. And here's what really, really pisses me off. This dude is repeatedly referred to as the perpetrator and has been in jail since April. Let me stress that again. The perpetrator, the criminal, and the man who deserves to be in jail is Tanner Cook, and he still is producing these videos. Still doing it. There's one where he's stealing groceries from people, and people are getting in his face saying, what are you doing? I paid for this. And what he does is he acts like a moron to intentionally aggravate, frustrate, and instill fear in people. And yet somehow, even though security guards knew what he had been doing consistently, I believe it's at the Dulles Town Center Mall, which is really close to where we live. They know what he's doing. I got to tell you, man, I am pissed off about this story. Alan Coley, the victim, is still in jail. I want to stress that again. The victim of this is still in jail. That's really why I wanted to record this segment. Listen, I don't know who is on the side of this Tanner Cook guy. I don't know. Because these YouTube prank channels have gone too far. They've consistently done insane things, harassing people, causing harm. And the fascinating thing here in this story is how the prosecutors, I love this. You're going to love this one. This is an article going back to May 3rd. They say YouTube prankster testifies about video that got him shot. Take a look at this. Let me see. Cook describes the prank as playing funny words on a Google Translate app. On cross-examination, he acknowledged that he stuck his phone about 6 inches from Kali's face while the Translate app repeated the phrase, "Hey, dip-ish, stop thinking about my sparkle." There you go. That's what it was. Kali backed away from the 6'5" Cook, who kept advancing towards him, even as Kali said no and stop and pushed Cook's arm away. Then Cook said when the two were separated by a small distance, Kali pulled out a gun and shot him in the abdomen. "I was kind of in shock," he said. "I had to double check I was shot because I didn't feel anything at first." People don't know this, that typically it's described as force pushing you back when you're shot. You don't feel much. He eventually collapsed outside of Cheesecake Factory. Sheriff deputies found him and took him to the hospital. It ruptured his liver and left him scarred. Deputies found Coley in the food court where he surrendered peacefully. The charges against him include aggravated malicious wounding and use of a firearm in the commission of a felony, not guilty on both charges. Check this out. Prosecutor Eden Holmes said there was nothing reasonable about Coley's response to the prank. They were holding cell phones, not weapons, she said of Cook and his associates. You don't get to make the argument that law enforcement saw a cell phone in a hand and thought it was a weapon and defended themselves. And then when this man who is innocent, minding his own business, legally carrying, is attacked by these morons on YouTube, you lock him up. I'm pissed about this, man. This story really pisses me off. A lot of people are celebrating, saying he was found not guilty. But y'all realize they've had him locked up for like 8 months? Oh, no, 6 months. He's been locked up for about 6 months, half a year of this man's life because he was the victim. And Justin Cook, it's no charges. I'm sorry, not Justin Cook. Tanner Cook. I don't know who Justin Cook is. Tanner Cook receives no charges. And the media issues a statement. The local reporting comes out saying the victim, Tanner Cook, issues a statement. The victim? The victim. You commit a crime. Someone defends themselves. You are the perpetrator. I ask you this. Why has YouTube not banned this guy? He has videos that have been going up as of recently. I'm pretty sure, actually, he's still been making these videos where he goes around. I would say this. I would say the video is a swath of content proving criminal intent. Why aren't they arresting this guy? It just pisses me off, man. Look, I get YouTube prank videos. Some of them are fun. Some of them are fine. But there's a reason why the big prank shows like Punk'd always required an inside actor. You would say like, hey, I want to prank my brother. Or a celebrity would be like, I'm going to prank my friend or girlfriend or parent. Because a friend pranking a friend, funny. Depending on the severity of the prank, obviously. Some are bad. And then, you know, you get Ashton Kutcher being like, we'll film it, but it's you doing the prank. We don't want to just do that to somebody. That's, you know, that's not okay. I'm pretty sure, too, even like prank phone calls are all felonies. All of them. I'm pretty sure misrepresenting yourself in a phone call is a felony. So outright. Prank phone calls, people think they're jokes. Yeah, it depends on who you are, though. If you're in politics, you'll probably be fine. Again, I don't know if anyone is actually on the side of Cook here, but I want to show you some stories. I want to show you stories so you can understand why Coley should never have been jailed in the first place. And I do not understand. This is a travesty of justice that this poor guy who is just trying to deliver food and delivery drivers know the threat they face and he goes to jail for 6 months. Oh, not guilty. Sure. Whatever the charges for discharging, if he is found guilty on this, because juries do illogical compromise all the time, should be time served, go home. But justice here would be Tanner Cook being criminally charged by the prosecutors. Man, I don't know what I can do, but I demand prosecution of Tanner Cook for this. What is the crime? I don't know, harassment and disorderly conduct. right? I'm not saying lock him up in prison for a decade. I'm saying he should be standing before a judge. He should be responsible for the discharge. This is ridiculous. Take a look at this. Uber driver who shot passenger won't be charged due to Florida stand your ground law. That's what happens in Florida. Someone threatens you, you have a right to defend yourself. I got more stories for you. DoorDash driver shot and attempted car theft. Here's one. DoorDash driver fatally shot in Akron, survived another shooting in 2022. How about this one? DoorDash driver shot at, man gets 5 years in prison. So you got this dude. He's a driver. He's legally and licensed carrying a weapon because he knows people target delivery drivers. Delivery drivers often carry cash tips. Depending, if you're using DoorDash, maybe it's all digital, it's all transactional, but you're going to have a cell phone on you. I mean, people are going to know like, hey, this is a target. They might have cash tips. And so when you get approached in a mall and there's nobody else around and it's 4 guys, I think it was 4 guys. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, 3 guys. One guy 6'5", one guy shorter. They're both surrounding you and another guy is standing back and you don't know what they're doing. It is not the victim's problem that you can't blame the victim here. Coley. He should have known they were just filming a prank. No way, dude. 3 guys surround me and 1 guy's getting in my face. This is how you mug people. And what really bugs me out about so much of law is that people don't understand how how criminal acts are perpetrated. In Chicago, what does a mugging look like? Now, sometimes a mugging is a guy walks up to you with a weapon and says, give me your wallet. But that is television. You know how muggings happen on the south side of Chicago? 4 guys will surround you and they'll just frisk you and take your stuff and walk away. They don't say anything to you. They walk up and they might say, hey, what's up, dude? And then they'll just start patting you and they'll immediately pull from your wallet, pull from your pockets, pull out your wallet, shove you, and then walk away. When you get surrounded by dudes and they're shoving something in your face, this dude, I mean, man, it's crazy to me. Dude could have been distracting him, playing some noise. Delivery driver has no idea what he's hearing. He's not sitting there saying, let me listen to this phone. And little guy could pull out a knife and start taking from him. Dude probably thought like they're trying to kill me. And people just don't get it because they've not been in these situations and they don't know what these things are like. And you've got too many people who live cushy lives who just don't get it. So what do we got to do? Start a petition? The prosecutor here charged the victim with a crime. It's disgusting. Eden Holmes. This is what you get in these trifecta blue states. And we are lucky this man was acquitted. Here's what should happen now. And it'll never happen for political reasons. There should be a special prosecutor in Virginia to go after Tanner Cook for repeatedly doing these things. He knows. Look at this. He said his goals in posting the video was to bring people who are watching some kind of relief and that his viewers like when people get frustrated on camera. He intentionally states that he's provoking people. Let me tell you something, my friends. You do not get to provoke a fight and then claim self-defense. If you walk up to somebody and you instigate a fight and the person attacks you, in many jurisdictions, I don't know about Virginia, in many jurisdictions, they'll say it's your fault. You don't get to go up to someone, start a fight, and then have them get arrested. And this is because Democrats hate guns and they hate self-defense. And so the victim has been in jail since April. It really grinds my gears, man. Take a look at this. Let's read a little bit. Let me get to the point where Cook testified last week that he tries to confuse the targets of his pranks for the amusement of his online audience. He said he doesn't seek to elicit fear or anger, but acknowledged his targets often react that way. That means he knows what he does elicits fear and anger. Asked why he didn't stop the prank despite Coley's repeated requests, Cook said he almost did, not because he sensed fear or anger from Coley. He said Coley simply wasn't exhibiting the type of reaction Cook was looking for. There was no reaction, Cook said. Prosecutor Eden Holmes said during the trial that the facts of the case don't support a self-defense argument, as Coley's lawyers had argued. The law requires that Coley reasonably fear that he was in imminent danger of bodily harm and that he used no more force than necessary. She said Cook's prank was bizarre but not threatening. Oh, okay. Let's see what happens when 4 guys, one guy who's 6'5", surrounds this prosecutor. Let's see what this prosecutor does. Let's see. What do you think happens if 4 guys walk up to you, 1 guy standing back, or 2 guys are standing back, 1 guy 6'5", and they get in your face? Let's see what she does. She's going to scream, help. Disgusting. I can't stand these people. These are evil people. This poor dude was just trying to deliver food. He instigated nothing. He attacked no one. And now he's in jail? We got to change this stuff, man. Defense attorney Tabitha Blake said Coley didn't have the benefit of knowing he was a prank victim when he was confronted by Cook's confusing behavior. She said the prosecution's account of the incident diminishes how unsettling they were to Mr. Alan Coley at the time. In the video before the encounter with Coley, Cook and his friends can be heard workshopping the phrase they want to play. Pouliard said during closing arguments that Coley is aware of the dangers that delivery drivers can face as they interact with the public and that he has a license to carry a concealed weapon. Despite whatever events precipitated the shooting, Cook's father, Jeremy Cook, said the incident was shocking and unnecessary. They were making a video at the mall and trying to have fun with people, and this guy wasn't having fun. If I was the defense attorney, I would say to the jury, not only should Coley be released immediately, a simple man delivering food for someone like you. He wakes up in the morning. He sees stories every day. Delivery drivers are threatened. They're robbed. They're shot. It's a terrifying reality. You're driving to strangers' homes. Sometimes, you know what they do? Delivery driver, they will put in an order at DoorDash for a random address. And when the delivery driver arrives at this address, because they're texting someone, they knock on the door, nobody answers. The criminals jump out of their car, walk up, snatch the food, jump in their car and leave. Then the person who ordered the food says, I never got my food. It's a con. It's a scam. Sometimes they steal the guy's cash. This guy wakes up in the morning and says, I'm just going to deliver some food. I need to make ends meet, living paycheck to paycheck. He shows up at the mall, picking up someone's order, and he gets surrounded by some dudes who are staring him down, making weird sounds. He doesn't understand what's going on. He says, stop. They refuse. They shove something in his face. This poor guy, man. And then the prosecution wants to manipulate context to falsely frame what really happened. I'm not surprised. We see this often from people on the political left. AOC did it when she claimed that someone knocked on her door and said, where is she? In her office. The idea being, after the events of January 6th, we all knew a bad thing happened, so she tries framing an earlier incident in the light of information gained afterwards. That is to say, AOC's story took place, I think, a full hour before the Capitol had even been breached. So when someone banged on her door, she had no reason to fear anything. She was manipulating you. They want you to believe that this guy should have known. It was just a prank, bro. When several guys surround him and get in his face. And he's still in jail. I pray for this young man and pray that he finds God in this. I believe that God saved our son's life, and he could have easily died, but that's not the outcome. God has plans for my son, he said, noting that he bears no ill will towards Coley. The jury was initially divided in terms of whether the defendant acted in self-defense, but eventually delivered its verdict at the end of the day. Coley was found not guilty of aggravated malicious wounding, but was convicted of a lesser firearms count, which is a travesty of justice. Coley's defense attorney, Adam Pouliard, said the conviction on the firearms charge is inconsistent with the law, given Coley's acquittal on self-defense grounds. He asked the judge to set aside the conviction. A judge will hear the arguments on the issue at a hearing next month. I'm gonna see if there's anything we can do. I don't know how it works. I don't know if what can be done. I don't live in Virginia. I live in West Virginia. But something needs to be done. Something needs to be done to help this poor guy. I don't know if how an amicus brief works in a criminal proceeding, if that's something that can be filed. And I don't know how you even, are able to. But I am hoping that by whatever legal means we can support this guy and make sure that not only is he released, but that we get criminal charges. I'm talking disorderly conduct, man, which is like 1 month max jail time. And I'm not even necessarily calling for jail time. That's, potential. I'm saying this dude should get charged. Tanner Cook. Tanner Cook should get charged. He spoke from his hospital by the time of the incident and said he was playing a joke. Cook also insists that the incident will not deter him from continuing to make videos and has posted 3 videos since. That's what I'm talking about. He has not been deterred. He continues this pattern of behavior. YouTube outright should ban him. I'm sorry, man. I've thought long and hard about this, and I'm like, should he really shut him down? I'm like, I don't know. That's tough. YouTube already made policy changes about these prank videos, and now it's resulted in a shooting. YouTube should delete this guy's channel. No question. You've got Mumkey Jones, I've brought up several times. Big fan. He made dark comedy. Mumkey Jones made dark comedy that was fully monetized by YouTube, that did not break any of the rules. It was just really dark humor. And they deleted his account, this is several years ago now, without warning, without a chance for appeal, evaporated. All of his channels. They said nothing. They don't care. This guy's still up. This guy's still posting videos despite causing this shooting. And the jury's found this guy not guilty, which means, guess who the perpetrator was? Tanner Cook is the criminal. This guy was acting in self-defense. The jury agreed. That means this guy initiated some confrontation and should be held responsible for it. I'm sick of this stuff, man. This is moral and social decay. This dude has taken taken it upon himself. He has pushed the boundaries into a criminal element, and it's resulted in a shooting and panic and fear. And I've been to Dallas Town Center Mall. It's really close to us. It's a half an hour drive. It's one of the malls we go to. I'm not going to go there anymore. Mall security knew this guy did this stuff. He should have had a permanent ban from the mall, and he should now. In fact, I'm going to call the mall and ask him, hey, is this guy banned? Because I ain't coming to this mall if you're allowing these people to come in, especially considering the shooting. I don't know, man. You can tell I'm pissed about this. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out. When I read that Coley has been in jail since April, I'm just like, how is it that these things are allowed to happen? That the victims who act in self-defense are still locked up? How is it that this guy is found not guilty and he's still locked up? And they're going to hold him for a month on this lesser charge? You people are evil. I'll leave it there. I'll see y'all in the next segment at 6 p.m. Thanks for hanging out.